How you doing, everyone? So it's been a while since I've done a stream, and I'm here with Brittney Postma today. And hey, Brittney, we're going to be taking a look at the Svelte Sirens site, which Brittney's been putting together for the last couple of weeks now. So, Brittney, if you want to tell us a bit more about that, and then we can start talking about what we're going to be doing.
Yeah, so we're going to be announcing Svelte Sirens officially at Svelte Summit, but Svelte Sirens is going to be a Svelte society for women and non-binary, and I wanted a place to list out any events or meetups or things that we were going to be doing. So I started the website, went with the water theme because sirens, I guess the mythology is like they're half mermaid, half bird creatures. So I made the logo and got the site up and running, which is kind of a basic thing. And I'm like, I need something more structured for this. So I reached out and I was like, I need a CMS. And I saw Scott's workshop at Jamstack Conf. So I wanted to do GraphCMS and use GraphQL and see how it works out. So I'm excited.
Cool. So absolutely stoked to be helping you out with this, and yeah, we can start taking a look at what we need to do. So I've just popped up the GitHub link for Svelte Sirens. Are contributions welcome, Brittney?
Yes, they are. It is all open source and any contributions are welcome. I don't have any issues out there as of yet, but if you see something or think of something, please make an issue, make a contribution, whatever you think would benefit the community.
Awesome. Okay, so let's get started. Should we take a look at your screen? I'll just pop open the screen here, and we're in the bottom. So if anyone's on the chat and you need to see anything, just shout and we'll sort of try and disappear out of view like that. But we're using Restream, and we don't have a great deal of options on where we're going to position the camera. So we'll just try and work with it as it is. And if there's any issues, just shout and we'll try and make it good. Okay, cool. So I believe you. So we're just going to take a look at the data model for Svelte Sirens first of all. So should we just take a quick look at what it is we are modeling this data for?
So you want to take a look at the site? Yeah. Okay, so this is the homepage. Right now I have a talks route that we are going to list past events so that talks will list in here so you'll be able to rewatch them later. And then we have an events route. And right now we have our events in here, and I am just doing those hard-coded in JavaScript and returning a JSON API and pulling that through that way.
Cool. Sweet. So we have got...
and I just realized this is the wrong date here. This should say November 29th. If anyone is watching right now, this should be November 29th, not this coming Monday, but the following Monday. So I'm going to be re-recording a little snippet about this. So November 29th is going to be our first meetup in the Svelte Sirens, in the Svelte Discord, but a voice channel for Svelte Sirens specifically. And we're going to be talking about building design systems in SvelteKit.
Nice. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got our events and talks, right? So what was it you had in GraphCMS here?
So in GraphCMS, we have the event model, and then we have the speaker model.
Okay, cool. So, and this was taken from the blog starter template from GraphCMS,
I did.
right?
And I took some time yesterday to update some of the content. So we now should have the correct content. I actually went in here and put, hopefully they're all correct, the events in here. And once we get GraphCMS hooked up, I'm hoping that is still not the correct date. It should say the 29th. And the time is not right now. The 29th and 6. I'm hoping... So this is actually a question I have for you while I'm doing this. I added this date time event in
Hmm.
GraphCMS. Whose time zone is this?
Good question. And I don't know the answer. I'm guessing it's your time zone, right?
Okay, so my time zone would not be 6 o'clock. And I want it to say 6 o'clock for all of them. We're going to start with that 6 o'clock GMT time. But so if I just want it to pull through 6 o'clock, should I just hard code that and not worry about the time in GraphCMS?
let's if it's a set time, I guess you can just hard code it. But shall we just leave it in there for now? And we can always change the field to just a date field later if it's always going to be at a set time. But
Yeah.
let's see what we get back from the API for that, and we can take a look at that.
Okay. And that is the
So
correct date. And
yeah,
then as long as that's GMT, that will be time zones and scheduling are the
yeah.
worst.
So
So
I need
I'm going
to
to save and
save and
publish
publish.
that. Yep.
We had a bit of fun looking at this yesterday, didn't we? Saving and
Don't
publishing
make that
stuff.
mistake. So
Okay,
we
cool.
have our speakers in here, 3 speakers. We have me, Ghost, and Steph. And then we have 3 events with those speakers listed.
Sweet. Okay, so do we have a relationship between the speakers and the events?
I believe so. So
Okay,
I
cool.
came. Oh, it doesn't look like. Oh, yes. So I am a speaker, and I ended up using the plural one because we saw that it could pull through
Yes. So you
just
have,
one if we just have one. So I don't know if we're going to keep
yeah.
this field for right now, but it
So
has the
yeah.
relationship to the speaker here.
Uh-huh. Yep. Okay, so that would be for the event. Oh, yeah. Because each event would have a speaker, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
And there's a possibility in the future of events having multiple speakers or a speaker redoing an event, so having multiple events. So we end up going with the plural version.
Cool. Okay, so let's
Schemas
take.
are also difficult, turns out.
I think once you get a good sort of idea of the how you want to have stuff positioned, so with when we looked at the schema earlier, you sort of have your models, and a model would just be for so if you have like a speaker's model, the actual name for that model would be speaker, and then so the plural of that would be speakers. So you
Yes.
can with your GraphQL query, you could query both either a speaker or all the speakers.
Okay.
And that'd be like two types in GraphQL which you query. Okay, cool. So looks like we've got all of the modeling sorted. So should we just dive into the project? And
I did have a note that we need to create a slug field. We looked at that and we were going to
yes.
do that on stream so that we show that to people. So we have a slug field here, but we said we might not want to use this field.
Yes, if that was the slug from the blog template, then it's just a text field. Yeah, so we've just got you can see the little favicon in the corner of it. It's just T, which is just a single line of text, and there's not the slug field, which is in add fields string.
Yep.
So if you click on that, then
can we delete this field first so we don't get an error?
If you, by all means do that. I'm just thinking if you had any existing data in there. If you haven't, then it should be fine.
I probably do, and it's probably going to get mad at me, but we'll fix it, right?
Okay, so and we can we can generate the slug now anyway. So you've got a display name of slug, cool. You can add a description if you want. So just below the description here, you've got the slug options, and you can generate a slug from a template. So if you check that, and so in here, if you just open up the curly boys, you can have a title, and you can also have more than one.
So we could do like the speaker name or so that might, I don't know. So I was just going to do the title. That is how it's currently done. So maybe We'll leave the speaker for the speaker route.
Yes.
Speakers route.
Okay. So we're on the event. Yes. Yep. Okay. That makes sense.
It's lowercase.
So we're not going to have it as localized.
I wasn't sure what this one meant. This uses
the
title.
title field. So that will just have it in the content model. So if you have it unchecked, I think it just shows you the ID. But if you check that, it will just show you the slug.
Which is kind of nicer, right? If you can see the actual title of what you're pulling in. Okay, so I think I want to do that too. And do we need any validations or advanced?
For validations, I think you can check it as required. Make field required. So we're going to want that. You have existing
now it's going to
content.
get mad at me. Oof.
So,
yeah, if I make it, I mean, we're going to go fix it anyway. So let's just put events and then we'll fix it. Will that work?
Let's try
because
it.
there's more than one of them. I don't know if that will work. Because it should be a unique field too. So we may have to go and do those first. So let's...
go over to the content.
Content event. And then edit these events to just... The slug is gone. So I can't add a slug though either.
So if we go back to the actual content view, we just click on the that one there. Yep. So they're all published now. So if we go back to the schema, and I'm not sure why we can't just because that doesn't exist anymore. So
because I deleted the
slug.
slug. So I kind of did it backwards and should have done this differently. But let's try just substituting that, and then we'll go back. Does that look different to you now?
It does, yeah. It was grayed out before, wasn't it? So curly boy title.
There it goes. There you go. Okay. Whoa! What just happened?
You clicked off of it, and it just decided not to save it for you.
Okay, so title tab, use title field. Oh, so some of the chat was saying that working with time zones should be standard and it should be selectable, but it's not a selection in GraphCMS, right? So Ghost said, I would imagine that it's time without a time zone. So GraphCMS probably doesn't localize its user's location.
I think I saw something pop up in the Slack because I think Jamie's watching, and I think he said it was UTC. But I can go and check that once we have.
So what is UTC to GMT?
UTC to GMT is the same.
Is it the same? Okay.
I think when it goes to British summertime, then UTC is an hour in front, I think.
Yeah, it does. It says 8 p.m. UTC is 8 p.m. GMT. So it is the same right now. So we might have to deal with that once we spring forward again, but we'll deal with that at that time. Okay, zones, so mark field as required. Events. We'll see if that works. That's fine. The unique field.
Yeah, we need it unique because
we do need it unique. We're going to try this and see if it works. And it's, yeah.
Migration values. Right, hang on a sec. Let me...
Can you make it required after you create it?
Possibly. Let's just... So will it allow you to create that field as is?
Let's create it. And then go edit the slugs. And then... Okay, so in content, event, slug. And this is building design systems in Okay.
Okay, so
Save and publish.
that migration value, which we try to apply is to every record, but because it's unique, we can't just apply one value for them all. So
Exactly. Yeah. So
yeah,
I was trying to do events to 3 separate events, and because it had to be unique, it wasn't liking that. So now we are going into each event and fixing it, and then hopefully going to make the slug required.
yeah. So you can just hit
All about.
if you just hit regenerate there, it'll over
Oh.
to the right. Yeah, you can
Oh,
just open
sweet.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. That is way faster than me typing that out. Save and publish and regenerate. Yes, save and publish. And now let's go back to the schema, the event model, slug, edit field, and we will try to make this required. You have existing content. Please provide a migration. And it still wants a migration, even
Yeah.
though they.
Yeah. We're just going to have to skip past this for now, I think. I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
something to do with the product. But I'll get you an answer for that, and everyone else who wants to know. Because this is based on a template, I'm not sure if there might be something, lingering from that. So it's not great because we haven't got the validation now for it to be a unique field.
Yeah.
But we'll try and work out a fix for it. Why it's doing that. But for
Okay.
now, I think we'll just move on with
So it looks
creating the
like
slug now.
I think with that, we've got our relationships to multiple events and multiple speakers. Everything is, we got the date, time kind of situated. The slug is situated. Are we ready to jump into the code?
I think so. So what is it we want to work on first, the speakers or the event?
I think we just need to get our branch set up,
Okay,
push the
let's do that.
branch, and then just npm install whatever we need. So I would think like getting GraphQL and things like that into the branch first.
Yep.
This is the repo. If anyone wants to kind of follow along, you can start off the main branch with us, and I will go ahead and pull up. I've already got the Svelte Sirens on. I'll close some of these out because that's confusing right now. So we're on the main branch right now. I'm going to go ahead and check out a new branch. We'll call this feature GraphCMS. Switch to a new branch, and we can go ahead and install everything that we need. So Scott, do you want to kind of run me through the things that I need to get GraphQL and GraphCMS working in the repo?
Okay, so we're going to use. So this is pretty much the same as the workshop we did, where we're going to take it from an endpoint. So what we'll need first is GraphQL request and GraphQL. So
And these
yeah,
are dev dependencies?
yes, indeed, yeah.
Okay, so GraphQL and GraphQL request, is it
Yep.
like that?
Yep.
Okay, and those are the only two for now?
Yes. So I'm guessing we might need date FNS when we get to managing dates and stuff. But for now, that should be fine.
Okay.
So they're installed. So let's.
I'm going to go ahead and push this up. So if anyone wants to grab that branch, so that will be live now. And are we able to run the server yet?
Yeah, I don't think there should be anything which is going to stop it from running. So
okay, go ahead and refresh that. Okay, so now we have our server running and we can kind of see where we're at.
Okay, so are we going to do the talks first or the events?
We don't currently have any talks because there hasn't been a meetup yet. So I would think we would want to get the events going into this route, being pulled in correctly. Because right now I am doing it through this endpoint where I'm pulling my API from the lib folder in this events.json file.
Sweet. Okay, so we're pretty much going to be doing that, but we're just going to be using GraphCMS for the endpoint. So, but what we'll do is we'll create an endpoint in routes. Oh, you've already got it there, haven't you? So in events, index.json.
May need me to
What we'll
pull
do
this
with
out a
that?
little bit.
What we'll do with
In
the
the
index.json.
index.json? Okay.
Yeah, index.json.js. That's where we'll do the the like the call for all of the events. So in there,
So if before we get started on this too, if anyone doesn't know how SvelteKit works with these routes, we have this events folder, and index.svelte goes to the events route. And then index.json is giving you a JSON endpoint for you to hit the events route and grab some data somewhere. So that is all we're doing here is this events route, and then we're grabbing this endpoint and returning this API that I've created just hard-coded in JavaScript.
Okay,
so now we need to put our GraphCMS stuff in here instead, and I'll comment that out, and we can start with the GraphCMS stuff.
Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to need to do this. What are we going to need to do? Clients? No. So in our route, it's server side. So we're going to need to define a GraphQL client. So how are we going to do this? Let's import GraphQL client from GraphQL request, and that goes into some curly boys.
Is it just lowercase?
What's the word for it? It's
like that.
Uppercase G, QL client are uppercase as well. So what I usually do is, I'll type in where it's coming from, and then I'll let VS Code.
Oh yeah, let it auto populate.
Yeah, so control space and then see what it says. There you go.
Okay.
GraphQL client. Cool.
There we go.
And so we're going to want to make a client with that. So let's use. What do we want to do? We want to create a new client. So export const client is new GraphQL client, and we're going to pass in the GraphQL endpoint.
Is it no new? There we go. Okay.
And then in some, so although the endpoint for the GraphQL API is public, you can put it into an environment variable if you like. So would you want to do that?
Yes, probably.
Okay, so with Vite, which is what builds SvelteKit, the SvelteKit project here, we're going to want to use the Vite underscore and then the name of the endpoint we want to give it. So something like Vite underscore GraphQL API.
Wait, all of these are capital though, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it in parentheses like this?
Yeah, sorry. So was it Vite dot?
It's import.meta, I think. You have to use
import.meta,
this
sorry, yeah. And it's not uppercase, I'm sorry, Brittney. Sorry, I was actually thinking of the variable name, so none of that's uppercase. I'm so sorry. Totally misled you. So that's all lowercase, yep. And I was just thinking of the variable name for the endpoint.
And then what is the, is it dot and then it is the variable name?
Yeah, the environment variables in Vite need to have Vite underscore at the beginning, and then the rest of the variable can be what you want to call it.
So GraphQL. Yeah. And do we do another underscore client or?
GraphQL API. think it'd be great.
Okay. Why is it mad at me about import? It's not hovering anything.
It's
So
not
maybe
hovering.
it's just the linter is not caught up to where we're at. Okay. So I need to create this. I'm going to copy that and put it into this env file.
Yeah.
And then I need to grab that from GraphCMS somewhere.
Yeah. So over in GraphCMS, under the...
Sorry.
It's nice.
I'm actually going to pull this off screen so I can do this, and then I'll put it back.
So there's like on the left-hand navigation panel, there's a settings tab.
Settings, okay.
And then in there's your GraphQL content API. It should be
API access. Is that what we're looking for? The content API in
yeah,
API
access.
It
should be one towards the top.
Okay. So is this a private key or is this public?
No, it's public. It's public.
Oh, okay. If it's public, then it doesn't matter. Okay. I thought it was a private key, so it's not.
No.
Okay.
So if we just scroll down a bit past the public content API, okay. So it looks like you've already got, because it's from the template, you've already got the permissions set up for the content API permissions. If you were just creating this from scratch, this is something you need to set up. So there's like this create permission button. You just click on that and it sets up the defaults for you. But we're all good with that. I think if it's from the template, then we should be good to go.
Okay. So there's no private keys that go along with this at all?
Just for things like mutations, there's permanent auth tokens, and they are private, but the content API is publicly accessible, so that's fine.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I mean, you could just hard code the in, but I always prefer to go with .env files.
Yeah, that's going to get mad at me now, but okay. So does this need to be in quotes or is that okay just like that?
I never put them in quotes.
Okay. So that is good. And it's still not happy about this, but
I mean, do you have ESLint? I think ESLint just likes to get mad for no reason at things like that.
Sometimes, yeah. It's not even giving me an error when I hover over it, so it's fine.
Right, what do we want to do here? We want to do something like so we've got our client which we're passing in the endpoint to. Then we're going to want to make a GET request from our endpoint. So in our
kind of do this.
index.json.js of events.
That's where we're at. So const get, and it needs to be an async function, right? Oh, that light is going crazy. I'm going to turn it off. Told you. There's a ghoul that likes to just start flashing whatever color it wants sometimes. So export const get equals async, and then we need a
for arrow,
function there. Okay.
Okay, so we want to try. We put this into a try catch. So we've got our client. So let's define a query for all the events. So inside our try, we'll do const. We'll just call it query. And it's going to equal the GQL tag. So if you do GQL and then command space, and then it's going to ask to auto import it. So if you just hit enter, you notice that it's imported it with GraphQL request.
Pop it in. Cool. It popped it in right here.
And then in some backticks, we're going to want to put our first GraphQL query. Okay. So let's hop on over to the API Explorer in GraphCMS. So that's the play button over on the side there.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one.
Okay, so yeah, open up some curly boys, and it's just events, right?
Should be events.
And then more curly boys, and then command space again. See what you get for the IntelliSense. So we have title. So all of the information you want to get from this endpoint, let's just add it all here, and then we'll paste that into those backticks in VS Code.
Okay, so this is for the index file. So this is going to be for this route. So we need the title, the date time field, and the handle is what I called this Twitter field.
Okay.
So we need the title.
Oh, I just noticed my camera's off. Let's put my camera back on.
Do we need ID? Probably just to. Of
Won't
that,
hurt.
we need the handle, and handle is not coming through.
And it's on
giving
events.
Me error though, but it's not populating it.
So
oh, you know what? That's on the speakers. So we need the speakers. And do we have to open up more curly boys there to grab speakers? And we need their name maybe, and we need their handle, and we also need date time event. Okay.
So if we hit the play button, let's just validate that's all looking good.
Perfect.
Looks good. Brilliant. Okay,
this is not correct, but I must have her in a speaker instead of in speakers. So I may need to fix that.
Okay.
Content event, and that's routes with Routify. This one. And I have her there, and I need to add existing speaker and add Willow, add selected speaker, and save and publish. Now let's go back and try that again, and we have everybody. Perfect.
Cool. Okay, so we're going to take that query now. We're going to put it into those GQL backticks in VS Code. So now we're going to use that query for the request on the GraphQL client. So just under where the backticks finish, we'll do a const. And what is we want const events. So we're going to destructure the events out. So we'll put them in some curly brackets.
Okay.
And then we want that on the client. Sorry, it's await. Sorry, my bad. It's
await client.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dot request, and then in some brackets, round boys.
Right. Round parentheses. Okay.
We'll put in the query.
Okay.
Sweet. So now we want to return the a status of 202. It's a 202. A status of 200.
It's an object, right? And then status of 200 is
200. Sorry. 200. No, it's 200. I misspoke. Sorry.
And then body is also an object?
Body.
Or no?
Yeah, just events.
Okay.
I think we might need to put it into an object, but we'll just see what this looks like for now. So if we hit save on that.
And this needs to return an error. So status of 404 and body of error, right?
Yeah.
Error.message.
Error.message.
Okay.
Sweet.
And let's save that. And then we're going to grab that in the load function, which we have here.
In your terminal, let's just make sure it's not got mad. Okay. So it looks okay. Right. So over in the browser.
It does say restarting server. So maybe I'll restart the server just so it doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, now it's mad.
Okay, so
Cannot read
over in
property length of undefined on what? Oh, it's mad here because we have all this old stuff. It's mad about this each one.
okay. So let's go over to the browser and do events.json.
To the browser and do event.json.
Yeah, so
Oh,
over in
yeah.
events, you have just put a .json on the end there. It should.
Yes.
Yay! So
Returns
we've
all
got
our
the
data.
data.
Perfect.
So our endpoint is working. So now we can go and get that in the page we want to use it.
Yes.
So we want to. So yeah, using the context module.
I'm already fetching it here because I was returning that other API. So I'm already doing this part of it where we load and fetch the data. But this is incorrect. I think this should be called events. Whoops. Events. And this should just be events like that. Events, and let's try console logging events. Save. Well, not very good. Sorry. There's nothing running in the console. Oh, there it goes.
There you go. There they are.
We have it. Perfect.
Sweet. Okay, cool. So how are we doing for time? 20 minutes.
Okay.
So that's it. We've got our endpoint. And I guess it's just a case.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. It populated most of it just right away. I need to fix some of the data coming back.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same shape, wasn't it? The date time might be a bit, might complain about that, I guess. Yeah. We'll see what that comes back with. Is there a couple of bits of, undefined? I'm trying to work out what that is.
So how do images work with GraphCMS? So how are those coming back? I'm not grabbing the images, so that's the problem.
Yes. Okay, so for the image, we can use the...
Let's get that playground back over here and see if we can get the image.
So is it part of the speaker?
Picture. It's called picture. Wow.
Okay, and then curly boys.
Oh, yep.
Yeah,
it just auto-populated that.
So we're going to want the URL.
Okay.
And then you can use that, but with it as it is, it's just going to be the full-size image. And we could quickly talk about the image transformations API, if you like. And that is where you can do transforms on not only images, but like PDFs and CSV files and stuff like that, I think. So,
cool. Is that kind of like how Cloudinary allows you to do that? Those transforms, sort of?
Yeah, I'd say with Cloudinary, you've got a lot more flexibility. But
yes, but that's what they do.
Yes, it'd be very similar to that. But so how do we do the transformations? Let me find an example.
I do have these. I don't know if they're the exact pixels that I want, but I mean they're in the round shape already. They're to fit to the website, so I think the way they're coming through right now should be fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, moving on then. So we can use the URL. So we can use picture.url in your.
Okay. So we need to copy
sorry. So we need to put the query in. Yeah.
And put the query back that way. Save that so it fixes that, and then over here instead of image. Oh, I'm destructuring a lot of stuff. I need to destructure picture. This is going to be handle. I did that by hitting Control D or Command D on Mac. Speaker working? Speaker is not working. I don't know how that's going to come through yet. Let's try to get the picture in. Picture.url.
Is it speaker.name? Cannot read URL of undefined. Okay, so it should be in our events object, right?
It's in speaker. So I need to do some destructuring of speaker. Do you just put speaker in front of it? Is that how you would grab that?
Yeah, that should work, right? Speaker.picture.url. Let's go. Can we look
that
at
is what I would think it would be.
Can we look at the query again?
Is it speakers? Whoops. Oh my goodness.
Gotta love live streaming.
So speakers, events. Oh, well. Oh,
So
that's why. Because I'm destructuring all of this off of events. Yeah. So speakers is coming off of events already, and then picture, and then URL.
So that should be fine, right?
I didn't grab the name either. Speakers.name. I wonder if it's a different problem it's having. No, it's not. URL is what it's mad about. Cannot read property URL of undefined.
So let's take a quick look at the query again.
In GraphCMS?
Yeah. So, yeah, speakers, picture.url.
I mean, URL should be pulling. Let's try console logging the event again. Events. I may need to not destructure all this and just grab events for now.
What I like to do is just to dump out what's been passed in as props into like a JSON stringify object. So like inside a pre-tag, I just put in like JSON.stringify, and then you can like visually see how the data's coming in. And I can never remember how to do this. Stringify events.
I just tried to pull in stringify from post CSS. That's fantastic. Oh no, I need a curly boy there.
And
Slug is not defined, so it's mad about the slug. Comment you out. A attempted to close a oh gosh. Okay. Are you happy now? No, still not happy. We're gonna comment everything out. There it is. Okay, so there's our data. The pre-tag needs to wrap pre word wrap break word. Nope.
So if in the stringify JSON you just put was it to and then null?
I'm gonna have to make it full screen because I can't see what it's saying. Yeah. The pre-tag has some like not breaking the words, and I don't remember the CSS to make it break it.
So
picture is null.
In the stringify JSON, after events, if you do comma null comma 2, or it's comma 2 comma null, it's either way.
Comma 2 comma null like that.
Yeah, try that. It might be the other way around. That usually puts it into a nice object. Maybe it's the other way around then.
Null and then 2. Oh, I have a trailing 2.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
So, where is picture null?
Yeah. I grabbed it directly from here, right? Should I try?
Yeah, and it's showing it in there. So why isn't it? What?
Still null.
So let's just check out events.json. I mean, I'm guessing it's just going to be exactly the same, right? So,
events.json. No. That is so weird. Picture.url. Picture.url. Yeah, it's structured the correct way. It's showing in the GraphCMS.
Are they published?
I see.
Are they all published on?
Oh, let's see. How do we check published
Yeah.
events and speakers are all published, but these say draft has been updated since the last publication.
So if you just,
What does that mean?
I think it's where we changed the slug, maybe. Yeah, this is the image.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go back
Let's
to
try that again, because maybe these pictures weren't published.
But there was one which was. So I'm still not convinced that's.
Yeah, it was pulling the data through, so that's interesting. Still, oh, this one is coming through and this one is coming through. We still have one. Mine is null. So that means it probably needs to be, oh my goodness. Where is, no, I need speaker.
It's on there. You can see the image, right? Oh, draft.
It still says draft. And I was pretty sure I published all of these, but for some reason that just didn't go. And then let's make sure all of these okay.
Brilliant.
They're all populating now, even though they were populating before.
Yeah, the thing is, in the GraphCMS playground there, that's like everything. So, and then what we are getting on the client side here is just what's been published. So that's why that was missed, and a bit of a should have spotted, really. Okay, so I'm guessing we can, uncomment it all.
Oh, geez. Uncomment all of it. Figure this out. This goes down to here, and this uncomment to save. Please work. No, a lot of these aren't going to work because I took that out. So
got to go prop drilling.
Yeah, so let's try to go back to Slug, speakers, title, date, time, underscore event, I think that was what it called it, and handle. Oh, but it's going to want time and date here. I'm going to take that out for now. And take event with the period out. Save. URL of undefined.
So let's go. So in the events.json endpoint, we could see it there, couldn't we? So
yeah,
we know it's there. So
I'm just calling it the wrong way.
No, it should be speaker.picture.url. That should be it.
Oh, you know what? Speakers is an array. Dang it. So
Svelte if to the rescue. Not Svelte if, Svelte each.
Each speakers. If I could type as speaker. Oh my goodness. Each. And then we need this to go up. Oh no, not that. What did you just do? Okay. Let's try that again. Alt. No. Okay, we're just going to move it. I'm not used to this keyboard that's supposed to be Mac and Windows compatible. So this is going to be speaker.picture. And then let's try to go back. Yes!
Right.
Like right on time too. Almost. We have 10 minutes left.
Everyday coding things. Good. Yeah, excellent. So, I mean, you're going to have quite a few concepts here. So, we didn't bother with the date, did we? So, should we take a quick look at that? Do you want to?
The handle is also going to be in that. So, I think this needs to be down here. And then the handle is going to be speaker.handle.
Yep.
Yes. So that's right. Yeah, I just fixed that. So date time. So we want to try the date time.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Okay, so let's try date time event. And then I'm just going to copy
Thank
that.
you, Hank. Hank's just saying, great. Actually, you learn a lot more when things are not completely going as planned.
So this is what we have here when we pulled that through. So the 6 to 7 GMT I have, I need to take this out for now.
So we can just do, there's a JavaScript function for it, right? And what is that?
The new date, or like
is it like new date to ISO.format or something like that? And then I guess you could take a look at using datefns.
I think that's when you create a new date. I was working with this the other day, trying to get my other date correct. And what I did is I ended up doing, let's see, new international.datetime format and doing it this way.
Okay, so can't we just jack that and then pass in the...
Well, this is a new date in JavaScript, so this will create a new date, not format the current date, I don't think.
So can't we just pass it into the where it says new date and you've got the time hard-coded in there? Or,
right here. Yeah. So let's try copying that and going... Where are we going to put that? In the script tag?
Speakers is an array, yes. Yeah, thanks.
That was great.
I think she's watching it on a bit of a delay.
She mentioned earlier that she paused it, and it took me a little while to get there, but okay, so I need to set this equal to something. So
no, sorry, I just meant in the markup. Do it in the markup, right? So where we've got the time and the date time being passed in there, can we not just fudge it in there? That's a technical term as well, fudge it.
This date time event, we're going to put where date was.
Yeah, and we're going to take the date variable
Still
and put
mad
it in
at
there.
me about something, and it's all formatted weird, so I can't. It's not that. That's supposed to be there. Fudge it always.
Thanks for stopping by, Ghost, and we'll see you this evening at the Svelte London meetup. Yes, and absolutely, Hank. That's should have it on a banner across my main monitor. Sorry, Brittney, just leaving it a struggle with that.
Oh no, you're fine. The struggle is real, and I cannot figure out where it's mad at me at. So it's trying to format a new date right here. Oh, so this part I'm not going to need because that's actually creating.
That's hard coded in, yeah. Date time format. So that should be.
Oh, I have an extra D there. Save, please. I'm gonna prettier sometimes.
I know it does the ugliest thing.
Prettier with that.
Doesn't do prettier things sometimes in Svelte code.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. Yeah. So let's see what that did. Nothing.
Nothing. All right.
Oh wait. I did it in the date time, like in the attribute. I didn't do it in the markup.
Oh.
And now we have an object. How do you destructure this object off of? I don't know how to deal with that. Do you need to string? Oh, is this like this JSON to ISO string that you need to do on it? Let's try to
no. Yeah, to ISO. No, it doesn't like it, does it?
ISO string. No, that's going to break it.
Okay, well, I guess we'll leave it there. So we've got 5 minutes. Should we just do a quick recap of what we've done?
Yeah, sure.
And then
sounds great. And let me push up. I'm actually going to, so this is working, comment this date out, and I will fix that at another time. So probably later today because I have to record.
If there's anything you need help with
not show
between
you?
now and then, just hit me up and I'll help out, because I'll be
Okay.
traveling, so I should be able to help.
So we have all the broken stuff out. I'm going to stop my server. I'm going to add all of my changes. I'm going to commit my changes and say added GraphQL and GraphCMS all to events route. And we're going to push to the origin of feature / GraphCMS, and that code should be live now. And that is pretty much what we've done. We have set up our schema and our model in GraphCMS.
Sweet.
We now have it's already showing on GitHub that we have this new branch, and I haven't refreshed it, so it's not showing down here, but feature GraphCMS branch is where all of our changes are living. And once I get all of this fixed, thank you.
Hank
is coming to the rescue. Let's try that.
Oof, look at that. That is just to get a simple date. That's a long old thing, isn't it? Right. While you're doing that, Brittney, I'll just try and recap what we've done.
Yeah.
But first up, I'd just like to say thank you for asking me to help out with this, and I've really enjoyed it, and we've both learned a lot. So I think it's been really cool. So let's. What we did really, Brittney did a lot of the work to begin with, setting up the content model on GraphCMS. All of the content she'd added previously, so that was fine. In GraphCMS, we also added in Slug fields. We could possibly do that another time where we're using file routing to get the speaker information, but that's not what we did. After we did that, we just straight up made a query for all of the events in the GraphCMS playground, and then used that in an endpoint with the index.json.js sort of file notation inside the events route in the project. And with that, we had our endpoint, which we could query from our client, which we did on the index page. In that, we just used a simple fetch to fetch the data from the endpoint. And then we just used the props passed from the what is it called? Just the context module, Brittney. Is that what you call it?
The context module is this script context module up here.
Yes. Is that what we call it? Is that the term for it? Basically, that just runs before the page loads. So that was how the events got
runs on
passed
the
to
server
page.
side, and again, it runs on the client once the component is created, from what I understand.
Oh, TIO, I did not know that. I thought that was just before the page runs, it runs that load function.
It actually explains it a lot better in the SvelteKit docs. Context. Why did it not start at the first one? Context. Nope, that's not it either. And of course, now I can't find it. Load maybe is where it's talking about it at.
Yeah, it's the load function. It's part of
a component that defines a page or layout can export a load function that runs before the component is created. So so it runs both during the server side rendering and in the client. So you will get it on the server side to get your data, and then it runs right before the component is created in the DOM, or in the browser on the client.
I've just always just thought of it as just running before the page loads, and you get everything that way, and that's how you pass the props to the page.
That is pretty much what it does. So we can run with that.
That's my simple monkey brain understanding of it.
But yeah, thank you so much for helping me out with this. I'm glad we're retrieving data from the GraphQL client from GraphCMS. So
yeah,
I've got that part down. I can work on this date time, and if I don't get it, I'm going to use somebody else's code that knows more than me about dates.
I've done it. I've done it several times. So I've got a couple of examples I can give you. If you don't want to use date FNS, then I'm pretty sure it's just. Hank, thank you so much for Hank. Sorry for the example, but I'm pretty sure it's like a lot shorter than that and a lot simpler. But
this is like, I looked that up on the MDN docs, and that is a way to format the date, but it's still complaining about the time. So I don't know. There's just something I'm missing in here. So I'm going to dig into this
the time
more. But
value,
I really appreciate you helping me out. Thank you so much. And
no worries.
Everybody go watch Svelte Summit this weekend, Saturday from 12 to 4, and it's your local time. So they're going 24 hours. So watch Svelte Summit
Marathon.
12 to 4.
Okay. So if anyone's in London as well, we've got a meetup this evening. So we've got Svelte London meetup, first in-person meetup since the pandemic hit. So if you're in London, check out the meetup page for that. If you just go Svelte London, you can find it that way.
Yeah, I'm super excited for the watch party too. It's going to be my first time being with like other devs. I haven't had the opportunity. I've been learning to code for 3 years. And so right after I started, the pandemic started. So I haven't been to an in-person conference. I haven't seen like people, and I'm really excited for the watch party. So
brilliant.
Hopefully see y'all in New York too.
Awesome. Is there anything you want to plug before we go, Brittney, or?
Just the Svelte Sirens event, which you can't see right now. Let me comment this time back out, and we'll get that back up there. So this is going to be November the 29th. So not this Monday, but next Monday at 6 p.m. GMT. That is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for people in the States. And we're going to be talking about building design systems in SvelteKit.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for coming into the chat as well. Really do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.